I have a friend who's working on a horror slash thriller kind of short film, and he had asked me if I could make him like a credit scene track. Basically, like a kind of doomy, dark, ambient, just like evil, creepy, eerie sounding just song that you would hear at like the credit roll at the end of a movie or a film. And I was honored that he even asked, so I kind of threw this together, just like a basic frame of what I kind of want to go for. And I decided that we should probably add guitars to it. I know he had requested that. And at first I was feeling a little bit weird about drums, but I think everything's coming together. So just super simple chords in the beginning. It's just octave chords, D straight to D, and then D sharp to D sharp, and kind of keeping that theme. I wanted to do bass just super simple. At first, this was just a one long held note and a second long held note. And then it went through a couple variations where I was like, we could kind of make it kind of pulse like this, maybe. Which is cool, but it felt like it was too much on a metronome. So I decided to just do like every quarter note, or actually, I don't even know what is the tempo on this, 90 BPM. So it's probably less than that. I'd have to hear. So essentially it's two whole notes before it passes again. So it's a whole note carried over into the next measure. So two whole notes. And that is really it for bass. All I have is a pretty extreme EQ curve here. So a high pass at 60 hertz, pretty standard thing. I kind of thought about sending it lower just to, I don't know, make it a little bit more muddy and a little bit more just kind of gross. But the low pass at 1K, I think is kind of the bread and butter of this. Let's just see if we just solo this and we take this off. Obviously you have a lot of string noise and everything, but even if you ramp this up to like 3,500 or, you know, somewhere around there, still way too much string noise. I just wanted basically the grit from it. And I think I originally had it at 500 hertz. It was just not present at all. And once I lay guitars in there, kind of wanted to beef them up. For drums, I'm doing something a little bit different. I have everything routed out to a drum bus, and I think there's like a reverb and a EQ on here. Yeah, just a pass at 3K, and then reverb. Nothing crazy at all, just enough to kind of give it some depth, give it a little bit of that kind of distant feel. But where a lot of the sauce comes from is in the kick. I've pretty much gotten rid of majority of the high end. Once you add reverb, there was too much of like a, not a pingy sound, but just too much of like a high frequency I was not really feeling. So let's just see if I can take all of these effects off and we can kind of show what we're doing. So that's just the kick tone right there. It's got a little bit of high end that I didn't want because once this is introduced, there's just a high end that I think is a little bit too present. So EQing a lot of the high end out of the kick before it goes to the bus, giving it way more of like a thump more than anything. And then once we throw the reverb on the bus, there is a little bit of high end to it, but it's nowhere near what it was. So for snare on its own sounds pretty damn weak if I'm being honest. Listen to this. Nothing. There's like hardly a tail there, hardly anything to it really. But it's a good starting point. And then I just have a crazy but not crazy reverb onto this. And what I mean by that is I used one of the smallest reverbs I could and then just ramped the feedback up. And I don't think I even changed the mix, but it's 67.6. Everything else is a stock preset here. Let's see, which one did I use? I think it was this. Yeah, so reverbs, A, small, and then this guy here. And once again, without it. And then with it. Pretty ridiculous. But then keep in mind, we also have that reverb track on the bus. So it gives it more of like a in the background sound to it. And then just the drum track on its own, it's literally just a kick and snare. I used to have cymbals, but it sounded way too much of a metronome, and that's not at all what I was going for. And I think that much reverb, just without the dual reverb, it sounds just heavily reverbed, which obviously it does. But with the other one, it kind of almost adds a filter to it. Just to put it in the background so it's not as in your face. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and grab the guitar. I'm actually going to add another one here because we'll just track both while we have it and see how everything kind of sounds together. So it's pretty disgusting, but I think it'll get the point across. I think I'm going to go ahead and redo that left guitar. I was not hitting it hard enough, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Pretty simple notes, yet pretty effective. So we'll just pan these out real quick. Actually, let me throw on the headphones because I need to kind of hear what's going on. This one I might move up on the grid just a little bit more, fit in time. I sort of feel like we could go dirtier with the guitar. And what I've got here is Gojira X, the highest output, treble up a little bit, mid down, bass up just a little bit, presence up, depth all the way up. And then I've got overdrive, everything just centered. I think what I want to try to do, should we try and put the octave pedal on it? I kind of really love how disgusting that is. I wonder how it would sound with both of them. I wonder how lost bass is actually getting in there. What we could do is use a gent or thaw technique, I guess. Kind of raise this up one. Nah, it needs to sound way doomier. We'll throw that thing back down an octave. Probably lower guitars quite a bit. And also, if you keep in mind, the instrumentals of this are not the primary focus. It's mainly that super eerie synth. And this is kind of just like an afterthought, sort of like a byproduct. But I know he said he wanted it to be pretty prominent in terms of like actually being there. So I don't know if we'll leave this open fully. We'll probably just take all of this and throw it into here. We may just adjust the levels a little bit further down. Or we could just bring the synth up a little bit. It almost sounds like that string is hitting off something on left guitar. But I kind of like it because it sounds a little bit spooky. I do think guitar's got to come up just a little bit. I'll probably never unhear that little string hit. But I like it. It sounds kind of weird. Now, I know he said he wanted it just to be around 40 to 60 seconds. I think in this video, he's probably going to have a lot of people that he features in it, or a lot of people that he's giving credit to, whether it's music or lighting or stuff like that. I think where we're at with it now, let's see, what's it end on? 42 seconds, 666. That's funny. But yeah, I'll probably end up sending this to him, see where he wants to sit with it. because he may even want to just say, screw that, let's just get rid of the guitars or get rid of the drums or something like that. So I'm happy with where it is now. And even if he doesn't use it fully, we could still use it for something. He even mentioned, you know, I could use this for like an interlude or something on an album, which I think would be kind of cool. I think with all of that being said, let's just give it a final playthrough. And by the time he adds whatever he adds to his video, it may be a completely different rendition of this. But yeah, I'm going to shut up and we're going to play this now. Definitely let me know what y'all think of that, and I will see you guys in the next one.